Okay, so let's see here. We're about a minute in till 4. Okay, Facebook is going. Instagram is running. YouTube is running. Okay, so we're good. We're just a little early, but that's okay. I will take that. That's pretty good for a Friday. Okay, let me just do one more thing here. Make sure we are actually going live. Alright, I think I gotta hit this button here. Okay. I will take that. That's pretty good for a Friday. Okay, okay, and I believe I need to, yep, hit this. Okay, and now, right as we roll up to 4 o'clock, oh, look at that! All right, my timing was pretty good there. Okay, and we are live on Facebook. Okay, all right, so everything is working. All right, as you might have guessed from the ears, we're going to be talking about Halloween today. They actually light up white, but it's kind of hard to. I left my lights off to try to make them easier to see, but I'm not sure how easy you guys are going to be able to see them. But they are really lighting up. Just the outside edge. They were a clearance sale costume accessory from Shop Disney one year. I think they were marked all the way down from like $40 to like $7.99 or something. And it came with other stuff, but I really only needed the ear, so I just donated the other pieces I didn't need. Every once in a while that works out. Okay, let me get to our notes for today. I have a couple things I want to talk about before then, but let me get my notes here for when we're ready. Okay, so we are going to be talking Halloween. Um, you might have also seen that Captain Mickey was at the new was around for the newest Disney ship this week. Newest Disney ship is making progress. Um, but let's talk books and TV for a minute before we do Disney, which is one of my loves. Don't worry. But okay, so TV, we're about a month out from Paramount Plus releasing Tony and Ziva. Um, if you followed me for any amount of time, you might have realized I'm an NCIS fan. It's definitely changed since Gibbs left, but McGee's still there, Jimmy's still there. But Tony and Ziva really had an on-screen chemistry they have not been able to replicate with any other two actors in the series. So I am very excited to see it on screen again. Of course, I'm hoping that it does well and that they do more than just the initial 10 episode run, but we'll see. It's still cool too. I've been seeing clips on Facebook, so it's cool to see them back together again. Um, and as you know, if you watched last week or maybe the week before, getting ready to go back to Hogwarts, I'm rereading Harry Potter. But I'm also doing audiobooks this year. I remember, well, actually, it happened like this. At one of our trivia nights, somebody said that they were doing the audiobooks, so it was hard to read the clues for the questions because the words looked different than they sounded. Which reminded me that years ago somebody had told me that the Harry Potter audiobooks were very well done. And I am in the process of borrowing from my public library through Cloud Library. And I have to be honest, I have Goblet of Fire. I really um, have not been able to get into that one at all, so I just skipped it. I'm currently doing Half Blood Prince. Um, I also have Deathly Hallows waiting for me, and then the last one I'll finish with is Order of the Phoenix because I'm trying to do them in the order they are available since I've read the books anyway. But it's really kind of cool, and there's just like a whole other, I don't know, there's a whole other feel to it when you're listening to it as opposed to reading it. I mean, I know when you read, if you're like me, I should say, when you read, you kind of hear the voice in your head, especially if it's something like Harry Potter, where you've got characters and you've got voices because you've seen the movies. Um, but it's just, I don't know, it just hits different as an audiobook. They've been really enjoyable. I'm currently in Half Blood Prince, and I just finished the scene where Ron um, gets the chocolate cauldrons that have been injected with the love potion. picks him up out of his what he thinks is his pile of birthday presents, but it turns out they just flew out of Harry's trunk as Harry was looking for something else. And Harry has to take him to Slughorn and get him sorted out. Um, and I don't know, just hearing the conversation between Ron and Harry as opposed to reading it, it hit different. So, okay, I'm done. That's my audiobook rant. All right, let's talk Disney. And since we're talking Harry Potter, of course, we can start with Universal. Don't forget there are Halloween Horror Nights. There have been some house announcements. Um, and they're also don't forget if you want to do Halloween Horror Nights, you if you're like me and you don't like scary things at all, um, you can do it during the day. You can do a tour where it's all lit up and well, I don't want to say happy because they are horror night houses, but it's lit up. It's not scary. There are not people running around frightening you. You can do a VIP tour so that you can get to more of the houses in your time at Halloween Horror Nights, and there are some other packages. So if that's on your list, let me know and we will get you the best package for the way you want to do Halloween Horror Nights. Don't forget they'll also have Death Eaters at Hogwarts Castle. A couple nights, I believe they do that for Halloween Horror Nights. I think they also do it some other nights, not Halloween Horror Nights. So let me know when you're planning on going, and we can try to make sure that you get to experience that if that's on your bucket list. Um, I've been helping a family the last week or two with a Thanksgiving trip to Walt Disney World. Um, it has grown. It was a girls' trip. It was mom and the two sisters, and um, now I think all the family is coming in. So we've gone from one room to three, and they're doing Savannah Views at Animal Kingdom Lodge because their mom really wants to see the animals, and that way she can just go out on the balcony or the patio and get close to the animals. So it's been really exciting. She's in her 90s and it's going to be her first trip. And her daughter's just like you would not believe she is like a little girl. She is so excited. And that's why I do this. That's the magic for me is helping you make those magical moments that are always going to be remembered. Because you can bring home a souvenir, you can get character signatures, but somehow being there and experiencing that and seeing somebody else's joy and watching somebody else experience that magic, it's just priceless. And that's what I try to give to people when I help them travel. Because that's kind of one of the things I remember from when I traveled. Now, granted, we didn't have a lot of money, so we really only did like a family beach trip every summer. But I mean, I can remember being, every year we rented, and one year we rented a townhouse, and I can remember sitting in the dining room in the townhouse, and after dinner, when all the mess was cleaned up, my grandparents and whatever adults were there, because it was kind of like open door. If you had a couple of days to come down, you could just show up. Whatever adults were there they'd sit around and they'd play cards and they'd talk. And I'm not a card player. I'm sort of a gamer. I have a couple that I like to play. I have some of the mobile apps, but I'm not really a gamer in the true gamer sense. And I never really was. But I loved sitting around hearing those stories. They talk about my great grandparents who were gone, and my grandparents would tell stories of when the kids were growing up, and just sitting there and soaking all that in to me is a special kind of magic. And that is probably why when I am on vacation with my son now, I tell him those kind of stories because it somehow self-consciously I connect it to vacation. And bless his little heart, he just nods and listens to the story and occasionally asks a question. But there's just something about traveling and making memories that's truly sort of priceless in its own right. All right, so if you want to go to Disney for the fall season, which is underway pretty much, fall comes to the parks in August. So let's talk about some of the things that you're going to get if you go to Disney in the spooky season. Bear with me. Oh, also, before I get into this, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin shut down this week. It is closed for refurbishment, but I hear there are some really cool new guns. I hate to say guns, but the shooting piece that you use to do all your Space Ranger spin and get all your points. I guess gun is the right term. I hear they're coming out with new ones as part of the refurbishment, and the new ones look pretty cool. I've also seen video of the Walt Disney animatronic from Disneyland that they put out for the brought out, unveiled, I guess is what I'm looking for the 70th anniversary. That looks pretty cool too. So you got cool stuff on both coasts. You got the 70th at Disneyland. You've got some cool stuff at Disney World. Okay, so let's start with okay. Okay, frightening foodie finds starting August 15th. So they're not there yet, but they're coming soon. Another week. And they'll be around, some of them will be around as long as November 4th. Now, last week we talked about special stuff, but that was pretty much just for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This is resort wide stuff. Um, there is a Mickey cinnamon roll, a Halloween mummy cupcake, which are at Boardwalk Deli. There's a vampire stitch cake at Kona Island. Jack Lindsay's Hanger Bar is going to go Halloween themed and become Halloween Hanger Bar on August 19th. You may have also seen when I'm usually there for Christmas. They have it rethemed for Christmas too, and I forget what they call it. Um, but I've seen them do it for Christmas too. Um, so it's going to include beautiful decor and holiday inspired menu items like Alien Invader sliders and Phantom dumplings. Halloween treats at Magic Kingdom. I hate the fact that I feel like all I do on Fridays is read you guys food descriptions. And then I don't know about you guys, but I'm always like hungry when we finish. So I am going to try to find some other content so that I'm not just leaving you hungry. That's never my intention. But the food at Disney, Disney food is just, it's its own thing. Um, okay, what do we got here? Disney Springs. Okay, we talked about the Halloween Hanger Bar already. Uh, Amaretta's Pastry will have a Wilting Rose, which is dark chocolate mousse, raspberry gel filling, and chocolate biscuits. Chocolate chunk Halloween sprinkle cookie. Chocolate chunk cookie with sea salt and Halloween sprinkles. Um, Ghost in Treatment. Cookies and cream mousse, dark chocolate crispy pearls, and house-made chocolate chip brownie. Um, City Works will have spooky sangria. The Coca-Cola Rooftop Beverage Bar will have Monster Craze, Monster Mango Loco, Fanta Orange Whipped Cream, and Cherry Juice. Um, okay. Aaron McKenna's Bakery will have Bloody Guts Donut, a rich vanilla donut with strawberry glaze. There's also going to be a chocolate spider donut with eerie white icing drizzle. Ghost Faces hand decorated sugar cookies with vanilla glaze. Okay, let me see if I can find something here that's not a dessert because I know there's. Gideon's has stuff. Joffrey's has a frozen foolish mocha. Frozen caffeinated ghoulish delight with activated charcoal and flavors of chocolate and coconut, topped with whipped cream and Halloween sprinkles. Okay, we're not doing much better. Marketplace Snacks has a trick-or-treat waffle. Vanilla and chocolate soft serve Snickers, Twix, M&M's milk chocolate candies, Skittles popped original freeze-dried candy, chocolate fudge, caramel, and chocolate biscuit sticks. Okay, that's a dessert. Okay, that's alcoholic beverages. Spicy blood orange margarita at the outdoor bars. Okay, I swear I saw real food here. Halloween churros at Sunshine Churros. Swirls on the Water will have a Mickey pumpkin cone and a caramel apple pie sundae featuring the Sanderson sisters. Okay, the Boathouse has pumpkin cheesecake. The Ganachery is not going to have any real food. Okay, the Polite Pig has a berry scary bourbon smash, crushed berries, fresh lemon juice, Tropical Red Bull and syrup. Um, okay, I take it back. I don't think there is any real food. Um, okay. Oh, this is cute. The Whoopie Monster. Apple and caramel whoopie pie with marshmallow buttercream, which is available at Everything Pop and the Landscape of Flavors at Art of Animation. The Boardwalk has a Halloween mummy cupcake and the Mickey cinnamon roll. The Mara, which is of course at Animal Kingdom Lodge, has the mummy cupcake. The Gasparilla Grill at the Grand Floridian has Dulce de Leche brownies. The Polynesian has the Vampire Stitch Cake at Kona Island. The Pineapple Lanai has Mickey Pumpkin Soft Serve. Port Orleans French Quarter has Ghoulish Beignets at Scat Cats Club. Um, the Riviera has a macaroon trio at La Petite Cafe. Um, the Trails End Restaurant at Fort Wilderness has the Headless Horseman Pop and a pumpkin sugar cookie. Okay, all right. So now that we're all terribly starving for sugary treats, let's talk popcorn buckets and other novelties. There is a Pluto's Skeleton Sipper. Of course, limit two per person per transaction. They'll be available at Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. There's also going to be a Stitch Mummy Bucket. Same deal. Available in the parks, limit of two per purchase. Um, there's also a Mickey Mouse Ghost Bucket, and it will be available at Disney Springs. So, let's see. All right. So now that we're all hungry and craving sugar, sorry, I really need to find something different to talk about on Fridays. I'll work on it for next week. Um, if you're not Disney, if you're not a theme park person, my mother was not a theme park person. She is not a theme park person at all. She's awesome to take into the parks with you though, because you can just park her with the stroller, put all your bags, put all your stuff in it, put her on the bench, and she just sits there happily, holds everything, waits for you to go on and off the rides. She really is a great person to take. It's kind of like having a I don't know. It's not like a tour guide because she doesn't give you like behind the scenes facts or any of that stuff, but it's sort of like having a babysitter for your stuff that you take with you into the parks. And she doesn't care. She just goes right along with it. The last ride I saw her get on, I was in middle school, so it's been many many years. And it was Hershey Park. We went. Um, Yeah, we went. We did a family day at Hershey Park because it's not that it's close enough to me that I could do it as a day trip. And we made her. There was this ride, and I don't even know that they still have it. I think it's there, but I think they've redone it since we did it. But when we did it, it was, it was the '80s, and it's this little train on the track, and it just goes around like like a campsite kind of thing. Like, I think there's some history. There's like a scene with the Indians around a campfire, and there's some other scenes that you go through. And that was too much for her. She just does not, and it's not even theme park rides really. She just has to be in control. She has to be the one driving. She also hates to be a passenger in a regular vehicle. Um, I didn't get that gene. I love to be the passenger. I'll sit in the passenger seat. I don't like to be the driver. I like to be the passenger. But, mm, you know, um, so if you're not into theme parks, you don't want to do thrill rides, that's not your thing. There are plenty of other trips we can find you. You can cruise. Remember, Disney Cruise Line has that discount on third and fourth sailors. So fill up that cabin. Let's get you guys your discounts. Let's sail away. Um, you can also visit a city. I'm sure we all have those cities on our bucket lists. Some of the ones I visited and crossed off my bucket list: New York. I've also done the Macy's Day Parade in person. That was really cool. The night before, we went to the Museum of Natural History and watched them inflate the balloons. We didn't stay for all of them, but We were there for a good 2 or 3 hours. It's really cool. There's like a drawing. They have these big boards, or at least they did when we were there, which was pre-COVID. They might have changed it by now, but or they might have made changes in COVID, and some of them might have become permanent. But when we were there, they had a big board that was like a drawing of the balloon, and it had numbers, and you had to blow up the balloon in the number. You had to go in the order of the numbers on the board. And then the year we were there, they had Clifford was one of the balloons. He makes an appearance every now and again because he's a big book guy. But Clifford actually had a leash, and they have people that the balloon handlers are, of course, standing under their balloon. And the head balloon handler had Clifford's leash, and then there were like 8 or 10 people who, at various points along Clifford, were holding onto a rope to keep him doing his thing. But it was really cool. So if you want to go to New York for Thanksgiving and you want to be part of that, we can work on that. Um, Chicago, you could do Navy Pier. San Diego is always cool. They have the zoo, they have the safari park. The Gas Lamp District is also cool. You can do Anaheim. Go to go to Disneyland. Um, Downtown LA is also really cool. My son and I did, and we literally just we landed at LAX and we spent a chunk of our first day of our trip in downtown LA before we went out to Anaheim. We did the Disney Concert Hall, which is really cool. We did the Walk of Fame. We saw the Capitol Records building. You can, of course, also do the tours for the stars' homes, and you can do the tours where you get to go up close with the Hollywood sign. That's on my bucket list. I'm hoping to do that on my next trip. Niagara Falls. It's not a good winter trip, but it's a good summer trip, fall trip, spring trip. And it might be an okay winter trip, but it might also be really cold and really frozen. But I've seen pictures of the falls when they're frozen, and they are freaking awesome when they're frozen. So, as long as you don't mind the cold, it would be a great trip no matter the year, the time of year rather. Toronto is good. Colorado. Not only do they have great skiing in the winter, they have some really cool little towns. There's a fabulous science center. Um, there are some factory tours. You can tour Hammond's Candy. You can do Celestial Seasonings. And there was another one we did when we were out there, and I don't remember it. But there are some really cool factory tours too. And of course, if you're going in winter, there's fabulous skiing. There are even um, spots in baggage claim for skis. There's like a whole wall with spots to just fill the wall. You can just imagine. I was there in the summer, so of course there were no skis. But I could just imagine, like, November, December as the season starts, just that whole wall just filling up with skis. And as soon as somebody picks theirs up, another one taking its spot. Um, and don't forget, there are, of course, there's lots of Christmas. You could do the Christmas market. Viking has the Christmas market in Europe as a cruise trip. You could do that. You could do it. You could do it through somewhere like Globus, where you're part of a small tour and you're on the ground, and you've got your little tour group, and you're doing the Christmas market. Um, there's ICE. There are 4 Gaylord hotels throughout the U.S., and they each do a different theme for ICE every year. I've done the ones in DC because they're near me, but every hotel does a different one every year. So that might make a great weekend trip or a great long weekend trip. Fly out Friday around lunchtime and stay Saturday and Sunday, and then take your time Monday and come home slow. Um, all those things are great for holiday memories. You want to do a summer beach trip next year with the family. Maybe you want to get a really big place. I'm trying to remember. My son has a friend that every time they go to Outer Banks, that's what it is. Every time they go to Outer Banks, he goes with them. He's been going since he was 10. Best decision, one of the best decisions I ever made as a parent was taking a chance and letting him go with them. He's now become their honorary family member. Um, but best thing, one of the best things I could have ever done, and I was I was really unsure, and I said, I don't want to be that parent who keeps him from doing things because I'm unsure. So I let him go, and it's been fabulous for him. Um, so if you wanted to make one of those fabulous family trips for next year, maybe start talking about it now, and then maybe start booking um, towards the end of this year, more during the holiday season. But it's not too soon to start thinking. So you go put your travel hats on, your travel thinking hats. I'm putting on my imaginary one. Oddly enough, it has slots for my ears. How convenient. Everybody have a great week ahead. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next Friday for another live. And I'll try to find something besides food next week. We'll probably still have some food because there's always food at Disney. But I will try to bring you some other information too so that I don't just make you hungry. Have a great week, guys. Bye.